Hey, just dropping in to say that the video you're about to see has been filmed at the end of July and now it's the beginning of September, so it's been more than a month. Life happened, but I still decided to post this video as a documenting of how my plants are doing. So many other things have happened to them, but this will be for a later update, so I hope you enjoyed the video. It's the middle of summer and most of my plants are thriving, but there are some that I look at and I just feel like I'm failing them. Today I'm sharing some exciting new growth along with some issues I've been having and some tasks that I've been putting off for who knows what reason. This update is as much for me to keep track of things as it is for anyone who's feeling like they're not doing a good job as a plant parent. You're not alone. So let's get to it. The first thing I want to talk about is my pest issues. If you've seen some of my older videos, you would know that in the past 2 months I've been dealing with spider mites. I started treating twice a week with neem oil solution, and once I treated with deltamethrin. So treating twice a week was what I did in the beginning, but I didn't manage to keep that up, so I just started treating randomly whenever I had the time to do that and the energy. And the deltamethrin, I did one pest treatment when I was leaving for vacation. In the video where I'm preparing my plants for vacation, you can see the neem oil recipe that I use. The last time I saw spider mites was 2 weeks ago and I pest treated with neem oil then. And cross my fingers, I haven't seen any more spider mites, but I do need to be on the alert. And I will be pest treating again just as a precaution. Another pest issue I discovered just a couple of days ago was mealybugs on the coleus, but fortunately that's outside in the common area on our floor, and so far I haven't seen them spread on anything else. So what I did was spot treat with alcohol on a Q-tip and I just got rid of the mealybugs that I could see. But I will be pest treating that area, all of the plants there, very soon, hopefully. I'm interested to see if you've had any pest issues. I mean, it is the season for that. We keep our windows open quite a lot, so there's no surprise that pests come in from outdoors. So how have you been dealing with that problem if you have faced it? Now to better and more exciting things, let's go on to the growth and repot updates. The first thing I do want to share is the amazing new leaf on my Monstera constellation. This plant was living on my kitchen counter for the longest time, but it's just become so big that I can't keep it there anymore. And I just put it here on the balcony. There is light coming in here. There's direct light in the morning and bright and direct the rest of the day. And just look at this amazing new giant leaf with 2 holes. I already have secondary fenestrations. I can't believe this. I got this plant as a 3-leaf baby in April or May of last year, and it's already so mature. This is just so rewarding and I can't express how excited and glad I am to see this. Another plant that I feel like is doing really well is my only ping. These are the first set of blooms that I have on it since I got it. It was blooming at first when I got it, but then the blooms died off and now it's blooming again. There's actually 2 pings in here. It's separated into 2 and I'm thinking I might want to divide them.
but look at how many fungus gnats it got. This is my own fault. I have some alocasias that are suffering with fungus gnats, and this has been eating them. And I love that for this plant because this probably means that it's going to be very happy. These flowers, when they first came out, they had purple margins, but they're now fully white. I don't know what the deal with that is, but they were really pretty when they came out with the purple. But they're so nice as well when they're white, so I'm really happy with how this plant is doing. I brought this flower next to the window so I could show it to you better. It's my Ludicia discolor, and I originally got it as these bigger two plants in the pot, but it has gotten so many more additional like offshoots. There's even two more, but they're very difficult to see because they're still very small. Can you see? Can you see in between the two stalks there's one growth? This is the one I'm talking about. And the other one is a really tiny one down here. I love how this plant is doing. Today I watched a video by Wildfern, and she has restarted her Ludicia discolor. She was the inspiration for me to get this plant, but she is going to try and grow it in leca, and this has definitely encouraged me to try and do the same because I'm aiming at growing most of my plants in leca. So I'll probably wait for the results of her experiment to see if I should go ahead and do it with mine. But yeah, that's it. That's my Ludicia discolor. The next update is my tiny ZZ plant, which was started from a leaf, and it's had this growth here since probably the beginning of the year. I'm not really sure, but it's now getting a new growth point. Down here you see. I wonder if this one is going to be bigger than the previous one, but it's definitely starting to bulge the cup a bit, so I might have to repot this into an actual pot. And it's really fun to have a plant that was started from a single leaf and is now beginning to look like an actual plant. Next update is an exciting one. I don't remember if I showed you, but this Phalaenopsis orchid had stem rot or crown rot, and I was just admiring these flowers while they were still here, and they have hung on for such a long time. They still look super fresh and nice, and I was thinking that probably after they are finished flowering I will lose this plant, but look at what I have here. I have a new growth point. This is what happened to the orchid I showed you in my orchid resurrection video. A new growth point just came out of the stem itself, and I'm so glad that this is happening to this one because I really don't want to lose this. I love these white flowers. They might be boring to some people, but I think they're amazing and such a beautiful minimalistic look. So yeah, I am glad that I am still going to have this plant. Next update is my snake plant that I repotted a couple of months ago. I think, I'm not sure exactly how long ago, but it has started to put out new rosettes. And it's funny, I don't know if you can tell, but these rhizomes here, or whatever they're called, stalks, or stolen, I'm not sure, but they have deformed the pot. This corner and this corner have jutted out a bit, and the pot is being deformed by the plant pushing against the corners. But I have this new growth here, another one back there, and there's one hiding in here. Let me see if I can show you up close. Just down there you can see a new growth point is pushing out, and I'm really glad, but I'll probably need to repot this again soon into probably something circular will be better because it won't be deforming the pot in the same way. My spider plant, this is just a recent update. I repotted this into a self-watering pot that's slightly bigger than the pot it was in before, and also I root pruned it significantly. I don't have the footage of that, but you best believe I went in there and just tore the roots off because it was mostly roots in the pot and it was drying out super fast. So I'm hoping after root pruning and removing some of the leaves that were kind of too far gone and too browned on the edges, I still have some more of those, but I just removed a lot of the lower leaves that were just on their way out anyway. But I'm hoping this way the reservoir doesn't dry out too much. Also, this can take much more water than the previous one, which was just a submerged setup with a cache pot inside a cover pot. This one I can fill about 400 milliliters of water in here, which is that would have been half the pots in the other setup. Another recent repot was just about a month ago, and it was this poinsettia. I lost quite a bit of leaves on it, but it has started to come back. You can still see some of the dried up leaves from when the roots were just super rotted and I removed most of the root system of this plant. But look at that, so many healthy new roots. I'm excited about this, and I think I might even prune the top so I can get rid of these crispy bits. I might prune it and encourage it to branch out more, and probably, hopefully around Christmas time I will have a big nice red poinsettia after the light and dark treatment that I usually do for it. These are my purple passion plant top cuttings. I rooted them in water and they did have some roots, so I decided to put them in this no drainage tiny yogurt container with micro leca to see how they grow in leca. I don't see roots coming out close to the walls of this container, but I did do this fairly recently, like a couple of days ago probably, and yeah, they're not rooted into the substrate at the moment. They're still very easy to pull out, so I'm not going to touch them anymore. Something I did just a couple of nights ago, because as I was telling you, I was just feeling like I have been neglecting a lot of my plants, and these here were just in propagation vessels, just sitting there for such a long time. And this is my Adansonii cutting that I made into 5 separate cuttings, and they're just in this pot now because this started just yellowing, and I thought that this was probably because it was in just water and it wasn't getting any nutrients. So I put it
in the leca pot. The reservoir is fairly high. You can probably see in there. So I'm doing my best to just stay on top of caring for my plants, not even filming too much, because I guess it's kind of a mental barrier for me. When I have to film something, I have to get ready for that, and sometimes I just want to stick the plants in leca and put them in the pot and just be done with it. And I just one night decided to heck with it. I'm just gonna do that. I'm not gonna worry about filming it. The same with this black pagoda lipstick plant cutting that wasn't even a cutting. I just accidentally broke off a stem and I decided to root it in water, and it massively rooted. So it's in here now. It's so well rooted. I don't know if it's visible. Here you can see the roots that were water roots. I don't see much new growth happening, but keep in mind I did this 2 nights ago, so but this is definitely looking much better than the original plant, because the original plant had been underwatered, I think, and the older leaves just didn't look very good. This one looks beautiful, and I'm hoping that it will branch out a lot. I saw a lot of new growth points down at the base where the roots were coming from, so this is probably going to bush out a lot, and I can use it in a macrame hanger on my son's wall of plants. There's usually just 2 plants there, but now it's just the spider plant, and I'm thinking I might switch them out completely. But yeah, very happy with how I managed to do something for my propagations. Another propagation that I potted up was this Cebu Blue. Again, it was a long vine, and I chopped it up into pieces because it had started putting out a runner. So some of these nodes that I stuck in the leca here are just empty nodes, no leaves. Others have leaves. I've pushed them down far into the leca so that they can root, and at some point these leaves are probably going to rot and I'll have to pick them out, but I'm hoping that I will get some leaves, some new growth points before that. But yeah, this is something, again, very high water level, so that it can just continue water propagating in here, and I will just leave the water level naturally drop, and hopefully that will make the roots go down into the pot further. But yes, this is again something that I did in my own time, just trying to get on top of everything that's going on with my propagations and my plants. I hope I get a nice full pot of the Cebu Blue, because I love these silvery leaves. These are again a bit more yellow than I like them to be, but that's again probably because of them being in just water for such a long time. I think I got these in March and it's now July, and it's just been growing in water. So hopefully this gets a better chance of growing well in some leca. Up on this wall here you can see the empty macrame hanger. That's where my red maranta was, but I decided to totally restart that plant because it was super root bound in the pot and the vines were hanging out of the pot. So I just chopped it all and put it in 2 propagation vessels. This is one of them, and this is the other one. And the reason I really did that was because the vines were getting so heavy that a couple of them snapped on the rim of the pot, and also I was getting a lot of
small growth just in the pot, and I saw some of the stems that were in the pot were rotting, so I just decided it's time for a restart. Also, I have 2 red marantas in soil that I'm going to be selling off, and this one is the older one. It's doing really well and I think it's ready to be listed. It even has a pretty flower. And this is the newer one that I potted up just maybe a week ago, I think. And it's also getting some new growth, so I'm happy with that. Another thing I recently potted up is this alocasia mellow corm that was sitting in this corm box, which is also just bursting at the seams at the moment. There's so many polys in here, and the mellow was in there with them, but I decided to take it out and just put it in like an airy mix with lots of perlite. And I don't know what I'll do with these. I have to address this situation. It's getting out of hand. I also have some purple passion plant leaf cuttings that I'm just experimenting with. They do have tiny roots on them, but no new growth points at this point. But I do need to do something about all these alocasia babies because that's just a lot. And this looks super sad. This was my pink syngonium that was so pretty and lush just a month or 2 ago, but now I chopped it up because it was just rotting in that soil. I think I should have transferred it to like a much sooner. And the fact that I waited because I wanted to film it meant that it just was totally destroyed. It went downhill. So here I have some of the cuttings I managed to save from the stems, and I'm hoping I get new growth from this. I would be so sad if I lost this plant. But yeah. Thoughts and prayers for my pink syngonium, please. Speaking of plants that I've been just putting off putting into leca is my syngonium albo. And it's so funny at this moment because all of these nodes here had leaves, but they've started to die off, and I just have like 4 nice leaves at the top. This one's on its way out. It was really pretty when it was green. But yeah, this is something on my to-do list. Put this in leca. Sorry if you can hear the neighbor's dog barking. I don't know what that's all about, but 4 more plants on my to-do list to transfer to leca is my alocasias that are not poly. Poly is doing amazing. That leaf is about 40 centimeters long and I'm just loving it. It's the newest leaf. It did lose all of the leaves that were there before the repot in the beginning of spring, but is now really good, doing really good. And I got the other new sprout over there that came out. I did split. There was another plant in that pot. I took it out when I repotted and now it's growing another baby. But let's get back to these. So all of my other alocasias that are not poly are just in their store-bought soil mixes. So I need to change that. First one I got was the mellow. It recently suffered a mishap. My son just tipped the plant over and this leaf is broken, but no worries, it's got a new leaf coming in. The other one also has a new leaf coming in, and this smaller one, the new leaf has dried up. I don't know if this is connected with my watering inconsistency. I've mentioned in a previous video that I seem to have lost the ability to tell when a plant needs watering if it's not in leca. And probably this one has suffered from that. Next one on the list is my beautiful Alocasia Frydek. I think this is the plant that brought spider mites to my home, but I'm not mad at it because it has bounced back. It lost its 2 leaves that it had when I got it, but it has put out these beautiful 3 new leaves and a baby. I'm so happy with this. I hope I managed to transfer this to leca successfully. I think I have 2 chances. So I have the big one and the baby one to experiment with. So we'll see how that does. I hope the spider mites are gone. This plant is doing well. This is the latest leaf. It's kind of shorter than the other ones and a bit smaller. I think it is still hardening off. It's a bit softer than the other ones, but I'm sure it's not going to be as big as the previous one. Look at this one. It's so dark and beautiful. Wow. I love this. The velvety sheen on this is just stunning. So yeah, it'll probably start sizing up more when I put this in leca with hydroponic fertilizer, because I have not fertilized any of these because they're in soil and I only have hydroponic fertilizer. So I have not fertilized them. And the next 2 are my purchases from Germany. My Antor Velvet and my Dragon Scale. It looks kind of bad at the moment because they're in such small pots that they're being underwatered, I think, because again they're just, look, this is so light. And look at this leaf is on its way out because of the last time I underwatered it, but we have a new leaf coming in. So this one is a leaf that I got in my care, and this one as well is the second one. It's going to be coming out in my home. And I hope when I get it in leca with the consistent moisture, it's going to do much better and start sizing up. The Dragon Scale, the leaf that it had in the shop, I don't know if it was while I was transporting it home or doing the pest treatment here, but I snapped the leaf off. But it is putting out a new leaf, which is nice, and it has 2 babies in there. This one and this one, which I'm also excited about because this probably means, again, I have 3 attempts at making this work in leca. Yeah, but I put off doing this because I was dealing with the spider mites and I just wanted to be done with that before I do anything else to these plants. So this is going to be something that I do next month probably. Another plant that has been waiting on me to transfer to leca is my white fusion calathea. It's doing amazing in here, but I do want to transfer to leca just because I don't want to take any chances with underwatering this plant. What is that? Oh, probably this is from underwatering. And it has 2 blooms, this here and where's the other one, and that one. This is on its way out already, but I'm thinking I'll put this in water for a while and then transfer it to leca, just because this I know is a very thirsty plant and will enjoy having the constant moisture from the reservoir. I've been putting this off, I don't know, is it since last year? I'll put up on the screen when I got this plant exactly, but it's been a long time. All of this you see here is new growth in my care because all the older leaves just dried up and died off. Everything in this pot is new growth. Look at how white these leaves are. Isn't this one of the most gorgeous plants you've ever seen? And look at the backs of the leaves. It's just gorgeous. I love this plant. I hope it grows well in Leca. We'll see. Some new propagations that I started. These are cuttings from my Hoya carnosa that I rooted in water and finally potted up. This is new growth, and this here is new growth on these. They started putting this growth out in just water. Admittedly, I did put some hydroponic fertilizer in the propagation vessel, but it was high time I potted these up. They had an amazing new root system, so I'm hoping these establish soon and start. When I see them putting out more new growth, I will list them for sale. Another Hoya that's currently rooting in water is my Australis cuttings. They are ready to pot up in Leca, I think. So I think I'm going to take 2 or 3 of these for myself, and the others I'm just going to pot up in a chunky soil mix and list them for sale as well. But I'm glad this is rooting, and I'm glad I'm finally going to be transferring this one to Leca because this is a plant that I got at the end of last year. In this food container, I think this was from fruit from the shop, berries or something, I've got some string of pearls propagating. It's a long string. Now you can see it better. So I got this from a kids play center that I went to with my son, which was just full of plants. I just fell in love with that place. It was also nice for my son, but for me as well. I didn't think we could, you know, have a place where we could both enjoy as much. But the lady there had lots of plants and she offered to give me some string of pearls. So this is one string. It splits off into 2 at some point, but it's just one string and it's starting to root, and hopefully I can have a nice little pot of this, which I think is very cute. I've always thought this is a very cute plant, but I was a bit hesitant to get it because I've heard horror stories of people, you know, doing really badly with them. So I'm just going to give it a try. I did not pay for this, so I did promise to give her a string of hearts propagation from mine because she doesn't have that. So it's going to be like a little swap that we did. And speaking of the string of hearts, this is my propagation bin and I put them in here just so they can root faster. I've got the butterfly method in these 2, and I've got just a wound up string of the plant in here when covered with soil. So, and this is a shorter pot. It's again a yogurt container. Sorry about the fungus gnats you're seeing. And this is just a regular rectangular pot, and I've got lots of plants in here. I got like 8 or 9 cuttings in each of these 2. So I'm hoping they root well, and I'm going to give one of these to the lady in the kids play center to thank her for giving me the string of pearls. And I propagated my string of pearls because it's getting so long. It's down to the ground here, And I started stepping on the longest vine and just, you know, stepping on the leaves and everything. So I decided to chop that vine off just up to here. I think this is the vine I chopped. And I'm probably going to chop more of these just because I do want them to branch out and, you know, have a denser pot. And I love this plant. It's so cute. I've already given a string of hearts to my friend in my hometown. I have to ask her how hers is doing. But yeah, it's getting very long. It's starting to fill out after I repotted and did the, you know, wrapping the vine around in the pot method. And, you know, after they rooted, I chopped the individual nodes that were already rooted so that they can be encouraged to start putting out new growth. And the result is that I have more tiny new hearts coming in. And this is something else I think would benefit from just some attention. I think these cacti and this Hoarthia propagations have started to get stunted in growth because of how root bound they are in these little pots. They're drying out super fast and I can see the roots coming out of the bottom here. And they are drying out super fast. I know for cacti and succulents this is not a big problem, but I can see when these cacti become dehydrated, they start changing their shape. It's like they're deflating. So this one looks good, but this one is like smushed this way. And this tells me that it would benefit from a watering. Also, these leaves never actually plump up completely. It's just the inner ones that do. So this makes me think that maybe if I give this a deeper pot, remove these leaves so it can start rooting from the stem here. And these are just 2 of them in the pot. These 2 pots have 2 plants in them, and I'm thinking this is stunting them. So this will definitely benefit from individual pots.
So that's what's going on in my little plant world. Some exciting new growth as well as some unresolved issues and to-dos waiting for me. Please don't judge. But I'd love to know what's going on in your plant space. What's been exciting you or frustrating you the most so far this growing season? Otherwise, that's it from me. Thanks for hanging out with me and my plants today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.